Hey, okay, so I know the first video you were looking at, you're like, Aaron, this is just you cutting your hair. I wanted to share my very first day having no hair. Uh, I decided I had long hair. I decided I was going to cut it off, and that was when my journey uh, started initially. It was way back then, so I wanted to share that with everybody so that they can see where I started. I personally felt if I was going to do dreads, I should start from scratch. And a lot of people say you should let your hair grow out, so many inches before you get your hair uh, out to, dread it. You should do it this way. Well, the way I felt about it was if I wanted to indulge in the idea of this culture that I want to indulge in from the beginning, not from where I felt comfortable doing dreads, or I felt like it was going to look like dreads, or I felt like I would be able to skip any part of the journey for it. So I started with no hair, and that's the video of me starting it with no hair. I will also share the first time I attempted to do lock videos. I didn't commit to it, so uh, if I can get my photo editing stuff going, I'm going to share that with you because it said a lot of the things I'm going to say, and it's going to be pretty redundant. These videos will be. I'm a pretty redundant person, if you haven't noticed. So that's coming. But when I first, the only reason why I decided to do dreads was because of a promise I made. I told a young lady that having long hair is just not for me. She said I should try dreads. I said I had long hair that were kinky twist, which to me was good enough. She told me that the two do not compare. So I told her fair enough. I would give it a try, and here I am, almost 2 years later. So the trial period is for 2 years because dreads take a while to mature, and she said that I fully wouldn't be immersed in the whole idea until 5 years was up. And I was like, okay, if you say so, I'm more than willing to take that chance, and I'm more than willing to do the research and look into and come up with my own idea of what it means to have dreads. So I want to go ahead and share that with you since you are tuning in, and that is that dreads are for anybody and everybody who is wanting a change in their life. So I like dreads because when you look up dreads, they always fall back on the idea of being close to God or close to heaven, or your link to transcending, etc., etc. In a lot of the research I looked into is big in India, and I guess that is okay. Well, in Africa, and that it was for the priest, and the longer they had their dreads, the more they had been walking in faith. And the only time they would ever cut their dreads was if someone had died as a renewal, which is pretty cool. When I looked into some of the ideas about dreads, the biggest idea that I attached onto was that dreads are for people who want to remove some of the constraints and conditionings that we've created for ourselves and return to a more original us. and I think big time freeformers are a lot more closer to being just who they are versus trying to conform to trends or conform to things that people around you do. Because it's true that we do flock together. If we see other people doing certain things enough, we tend to want to move in that direction, especially if it looks like it's working for them. If it's working for them, then it should work for me. I also believe that I believe in the idea of that we are all one. Excuse me. The Lion King taught me that when I die, I go into the earth, and then somebody's going to eat the deer that eats that grass, and that energy is going to be fed back into this universe, into this world. And after doing my conspiracy research of looking into Tesla 369 and the golden spiral and all this ancient knowledge that they don't seem to make very big in school or for other people to attach their lives to, because I thought it was amazing that some of these things you can go out and actually try on your own and see what the results are. I haven't tried any of myself, and I would really enjoy making a video that had me, just checking on some of the facts that they are talking about in the video. Again, I'm working on this piece. I finished this piece. I'm working on this piece now. So, trying to get these videos done and on the way. Right now, I'm not at the point where I can come up with amazing quality, so I'm focusing on quantity. But this video is about Locs, so that's what we're going to talk about. My journey was a very relatively easy one. I had an idea of what type of hairstyle I wanted, especially since I do parkour, and I do a lot of movement. I don't want really large, thick dreads. So I was looking for something that was in the small area, but not micro. I didn't want micro because I felt like I might as well just have long, straight hair. I think micros are cool. I think they're definitely more geared towards women. I think dreads in general have more pull towards women, but I believe there are a lot of males out there that have a lot of dreads and not really very much guidance for it. You kind of have to look at female videos all the time and kind of hope your cool factor doesn't go down or whatever, which I'm not saying you can't rely on women, but I just wish there was an outlet for men as well. That being said, I'm not too big on maintenance when it comes to my hair. I kind of just allow it to grow. That's why my roots are straight and then they go into being locked. A lot of people go out and they get their hair twisted maybe once a month. I haven't gone out to get my hair twisted at all. There are a few products that I bought at the beginning, but then I kind of moved away from that as well. And I haven't really used any products. I need to start shampooing once a month, but I usually generally just put oil on my hair and then put a essence oil on my hair as well. So I know my hair must be filthy. I used to wash it every month until I could no longer afford to get the shampoo I wanted. Then I decided that I just let what happens happens. So my hair is not the strongest hair out there. I My roots thin out. They're thinning out. Excuse me, but they've been thinning out since I started doing dreads, and they seem to just get thicker as they get further out. So I'm not too worried about waking up one morning and like plops of hair being just in different places, because whatever. I sleep normally. I usually wear a hat when I go to bed though, because I don't like oils being on my pillow when I wake up. So there's some habits that I've obtained from having dreads. Other things that I've kind of gone through because of having dreads is people's first opinion of me. Even the people who have dreads' first opinion of me is pretty interesting, especially if they're wearing red, black, and green. They kind of go into, let me educate you, brother. And I'm like, I feel you, I understand, but I'm not about that culture. Any culture that I want to be about is definitely 100% non-violent. I want to be about a non-violent culture. I want to represent a non-violent culture. I want to represent the idea of sharing culture with other people. I want to be a part of creating culture. I want dreads not to be worn because I can't afford to get a haircut, or I don't want dreads to be worn because my cousin wore them and he looks good in them, and he be getting all the girls or whatever. I feel like dreads should be worn because you choose to wear dreads. Either A, you choose to wear dreads because you want to pursue the idea of changing your life, and you're using your dreads to represent that, to remind you every day, or like you want to pass down to your kids that, hey, once you hit a certain age and you go into manhood, then you cut your hair and stuff like that. That's what I want to see. I want to create that type of culture. I want to see that type of culture existing here, and that's what I push for. When people ask me about drugs, when people ask me about drugs, which happens more often than I thought it would, because the way I carry myself, I just don't see myself being a drug dealer, and there's no possible way when you look at this video you scream out, that's a thug, because I'm not thug. Like, there's nothing about me that's thug. And if you look at any of my other videos, you're like, nah, bruh. So that's weird to me, but yeah, I want less of the idea of Bob Marley and more of the idea of the monks. Because that to me is what the hair is all about. It's not, and it's not selective on culture. If that's how you feel, then look at science. Science says that we pretty much came from one general direction of area because everybody at one point died out. So that means, guess what? Me and you are brothers and sisters from somewhere way down the line, and that enough is reason right to be able to do dreads, whether you're female, male, white, black, Asian, Filipino. So this video is just basically me talking about my ideas on dreads and my feelings towards it, and this whole entire session is going to be like, this whole entire playlist is just going to be about how I maintain my dreads, or what products I use, and I'll link all the products in the description. So if you want to check those out and see what I'm talking about, you can. I also will be experimenting with coloring my hair, just because, for the heck of it.